Well, let's step down a little and leave football for a while. We'll get back to football and talk cricket and tell you about the seventh edition of the Southeast Cricket Championship. The organizers have been telling us what to expect and giving information around that tournament. There will be 6 teams from that geopolitical zone that will participate, and they're expected to produce 1 team for the tournament, while the host, Anambra, will feature 2 teams. Let's allow you listen to the organizers. Then we'll be back for more on Sports Tonight.
And when the zonal national tournament takes place again, you will have trials like you do at national level. So typically the best players, and that's one of the purposes of this event as well. So we select the best players from all the teams, 5 or 6 teams that are there, and they'll be invited for trials. So typically from that you select a zonal team. That's the fairest way to work. You can't restrict it to one state or to one team. You pool maybe 30 players based on performance. Maybe for next year we're looking to involve the girls as well in some form or the other. It's something we're looking at doing, but also to encourage them, because the number of schools are now playing female cricket. So again, just to give them something to look forward to, we want to encourage them by incorporating them into the tournament in some form. It's something we'll look at for next year.
All right, that's it. 6 teams will participate in the 7th edition of that. There are also plans to include women, that's the females, starting from next year. And it's good when we talk about all these sports. And I've always said that I envy South Africa because they're a multi-sport nation. And sometimes we accuse administrators of folding their hands and complaining. But when you see things like this, Joseph, it makes you happy that efforts are being put into place to ensure that something is done, discover talents. You also mentioned the fact that
I mean, not just football, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yes, it gives us joy, to see that the sports ministry and also organizers are putting more attention into other sports, and not just cricket. We've seen what's currently happening in lawn tennis. The likes of Rashida Tajibade doing well in the under-16s and under-15 competitions out there. So it's a welcome development, having the sports ministry diverse into others. But let's just hope they continue, in this vein, and see if we can start picking up, trophies, not just trophies, medals from other sports.
Yeah, and like I said, this championship will serve as a trial to select players, scout players, discover them, and nurture them. I mean, you always need a platform to get spotted.
This is the way to go about it. You can't do any other way. It has to catch them young. You have to devote time to them. You have to provide resources required for them to grow, because these are athletes. They have needs. And the government has to, as a matter of policy, to the sports ministry, make sure that they provide necessary support to events like this. It will go a long way in helping building the sport. We shouldn't have only football all the time. If you really want to be a sports minister, you have to cut across other sports.
Or a sport nation at that.
It's as simple as that. So it should be a national policy. You are creating employment and getting the youth engaged in things that are productive. It's a welcome development.
All right, guys, before we, there's so much football on the menu for you tonight. And that's why we have to quickly talk about other things, because if we start with the football, probably won't have time to go to those other areas. Guys, let's talk about tomorrow, boxing. That is David Haye and his opponent, Tony Bellew. It's not so much about the bout. Yeah. It's the acrimony, the words, choice of words that David Haye has decided to use that's causing the controversy. And a lot of people, I might be wrong, but a lot of people feel David Haye might just probably beat his opponent. But I mean, his choice of words and the drama before this fight is what a lot of people are calling to question.
Well, it's a norm when it comes to boxing. I mean, you see them exchange words. I mean, negative
trash
one you want
talk,
to say. And that what we saw Tyson Fury before he was stripped of his bouts, before he took on, was it Vladimir Klitschko at this point in time? So it's a norm when it comes to boxing. You look at David going into the bout tomorrow. I think for me, a well-experienced boxer, no doubt, but he's got a good track record. Yeah, on paper, it's looking like a one-way fight, but I think it needs to be wary of the threat it might bring.
Okay.
Is that similar about issues with David Chisora, at the time, and they had similar issue, and at the stage, the license was suspended. So he has a history of acting funny, a very colorful guy. He uses words from the gutters all the time. So people shouldn't just look at it. At times, I wonder, when he gets to the ring, what is he going to do? Is he going to kill his opponent or what? Because there's so much fury, so much anger, pent-up emotions. You begin to wonder what will happen. Is he going to kickbox, or is he just going to be boxing alone? Because I look forward to a great bout anyway. You know, it's going to be interesting.
And at David Hayes' age, do you see any of you guys, before we go on a break, see this guy going on to still
to defeat David Hay?
I mean, no, I'm talking about David Hay.
Yeah.
Probably going on to become an heavyweight champion again.
Well, it is possible. I mean, it might be
At his age, I think he's 36 now.
I mean, it is possible. The outcome of this game will show if he's ready or not. In that one, I mean, we've seen rejuvenated boxers in that one. So I think we should wait and see what happens in this. Is that the outcome of this game will show if he's ready to, to kick the world once again.
I don't think so. Really, it doesn't look like someone that can take on the Vladimir Klitschko. It doesn't look like it. He looks very mouthy. You know, I think he's just enjoying his time in the sun. It doesn't look like he's way above. He's gone beyond his prime.
His prime. Another thing that has come to the fore that has been criticized by many was the way he prepared for this bout. Most boxers will go to secluded areas, but he was enjoying the spotlight. Was taking time out, going to fashion events, going everywhere.
He's a showman anyway.
And a lot of people are saying,
so what do you expect?
This might backfire. I don't know if any of you think it might backfire.
Well, to me, I see him more as a model, not really as a boxer. So really, when it comes to the real, I mean, we've seen Mike Tyson. Even when they do all those things, you know that they are pound for pound. You know, but I see him more as a fashionista, an entertainer than a boxer, than a sportsman.
These are those activities backfiring?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, you look at the likes of talking about Anthony Joshua. I mean, trained openly in the United States before he took on, his opponent. And
people are saying it's showing a lack of respect for his opponents. You're breaking your training regime, going to places, showing off. What if you lose?
Well, I don't think so. That is on tactics. I mean, we must wait and see the outcome of the game, if it's possible or not. But for me, I think that's tactics. As I said earlier on, Anthony Joshua, we all criticized him, training openly out there in the United States, but still went on to win.
Okay, maybe we'll just leave it at that, and we'll see what happens in that bout. A lot of people have written of his opponent, but we've seen stranger things happen in boxing. But guys, quick response for you guys. Let me quickly ask you, because we're not going to talk about boxing again. Which bout would you love to see? I mean, from the top of your head, 10 seconds, which heavyweight bout would you love to see happen this year?
Well, it's coming. Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko.
But it has to be the fight. I mean, we've talked much about it. Anthony Joshua talking tough, how he's going to destroy his opponents in 4 or 5 rounds. I mean, Vladimir Klitschko is coming out to say, I've got the experience, I've got what it takes to knock you out. So we can't wait to see, the outcome of that game. But I think Anthony Joshua, with what he has shown so far in his last 3 fights, might just surprise us.
Okay, guys in the studio telling us that they would love to see that fight. Well, it's going to come on, barring any injuries to any of the boxers. I would probably have spared a thought for Deontay Wilder, but the guys in the studio are not throwing him in the mix. All right, we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll still be here talking sport, but we'll come back home to talk about football on the domestic scene. Join us again.